Part 6, variety number 6. Do you want to play a game? And they just come out like Saw 10 or something. Sorry. It's like Halloween, and my wife was watching the Saw movies. Anyway, guys, I hope you're doing absolutely amazing. I've got a history-packed, delicious sugarcane in here for you tonight. And call it Morgan Red. You know, where we live, my wife grew up out in this area, and her family on her father's side stretches back quite a ways into the Civil War times, you know, and they also stretch up into Mississippi and Louisiana. But in this area of Central Florida here, her family used to be huge. They ranched, they ran cattle, and grew sugarcane on thousands of acres out here in Central Florida. And around the time of the Civil War, in the 1800s, there late 1800s, and there's creeks named after them. There's roads. There's everything out here. For quite a ways, you can find their names stamped on things all over the place, including this sugarcane. Now, when I first met my wife, and I went to her family's first cane grinding, because her family, every year did a cane grinding, because they grew sugarcane out here where we are. And she calls them pops, even though it's like her great uncle or something is how he's related to her. I don't know. It's family ties, and guys, it's like Central Florida. You think Alabama's bad? Woo! You ain't ever been to Polk County in Central Florida, okay? But anyway, it's like her great uncle or something. I don't know. He's related to her on her father's side, and then there was some marriages back in the day from her mother's side into the. It's confusing, but anyway, when I first met her, doing a cane grinding, met her. They do it, depending on when the first cold weather would arrive, whether that was in October or November, December. You never know here in Central Florida. It seems we're getting cooler and colder earlier and earlier every year, and then we have a warm snap, and then we hit blast of cold, as how it's been the past few years. But it was like November-ish, or going into, it was around Thanksgiving, that first cane grinding I did with her family. And we load up on the tractor, had a big bed behind it, trailer, and the family and everybody went out there, and we cut sugarcane starting in the morning. And we used to use a donkey, of course, but when we started doing it, they were using a riding lawnmower. Somebody just rode around in circles in the riding lawnmower, pulling this crank grinder, and you'd feed 4, 5, 6 sugarcane stalks into it at a time, and the juice would all flow out into a giant pan. And he has huge vats, like 100-gallon vats, with a brick, and they sit in a brick, oven, and you put the vats on top, and you just light a wood fire underneath. He'd start off with pine wood, get it super hot, get the syrup, the sugarcane juice boiling, and then as the night and day progressed, they'd move to oak wood, and it would burn slower and cooler, so you wouldn't burn the syrup. And then eventually they'd move to new, like, oak wood that would burn really slow, and it was dry, but it formed good embers, or maybe it was older, I don't know. And and we'd when it was just the right consistency, you pour it out into a big thing, and it's pretty cool. But this sugarcane right here, Morgan Red, if you sit there with that old man long enough, he's like almost 100 years old now. I think he's 99 this year. Anyway, He will tell you stories. Where I live, he literally grew up in the house to now defunct orange groves, next to me. About, I don't know, there's like 100 acres between us. But he grew up in that house. The house is still standing where he was born, in that house. And he'll tell you some stories. And he'll tell you stories from the time he was about 8 to 12 years old out on the properties that are now around me. But of course, they're now housing developments and Amazon and airport and roads and warehouses, because his family used to own literally all this. They own the property the airport is on that I live near, and the airport actually was an air base during World War II, and the government bought the property from them to build the air base, which is now an airport. But anyway, he will tell you stories when he was about, around 10 years old, 8 to 12, of him going out in the cane fields and cutting the sugar cane. And this was, in the 20s. Yeah, this was the 1920s, okay, guys? And he will talk about going out there and cutting that cane when he was a kid, and his father doing the same thing in the 1800s, guys, the 1890s. And his grandfather was still alive when he'll tell you these stories. He'll just go on. His grandfather was alive, survived the Civil War, and he'll talk about cutting this exact cane and making syrup out of it in the fields that were around now where I live. It's crazy. So this cane, who knows where it originally came from? It is, it's a red hybrid cane, which a lot of canes are actually, once you get into the really super sugar producing ones, they're purpley red, green, because they all really originated from one variety. But that's for another video, guys. And, but yeah, he will tell you the stories of this exact cane. Hey, dogs, I'm making a video. They're always wrestling when I'm talking to you guys. And, it's crazy, the history. This cane has been grown here in Central Florida in this little tiny area for over 100 years, possibly 120, 130 years. Who knows? I don't know. As far as I can tell, his family came out here in the 40s or something. They were out here. It's crazy. I don't know, when they first started settling out here. I don't know. 1840s or something. Hear him say it. His great grandfather or another. So I don't know if they brought sugarcane. Who knows? But this is an old cane, and it's a good one. And the reason this cane has survived so long being grown is because, first off, it tastes really good. It makes delicious syrup. It makes a nice, smooth, amber, really delicious cane syrup. And it's got a nice, clean flavor to it. It's not super earthy or super, minerally or anything like that. And, but if you chew on it fresh, I got some right here. Hey, dogs. I'm videoing. Shh, dogs. It's got a nice fruitiness to it, It's just good tasting. It's not super sweet. It's sweet, of course. It's sugarcane, and it makes really good syrup. And it's just got a good fruity flavor to it. No grassiness to it. Some sugarcane has some grassiness. This has just good fruity sweetness to it, It's a good tasting sugarcane. It's amazing to chew on, super refreshing. Makes an awesome syrup. The plants are very drought and poor soil tolerant, which is probably why it was really the only variety that they grew. They grew a couple others, and I'll make a video another time of one of the other ones. But the Morgan Red Sugarcane, guys, a very pretty cane. It turns a nice red, nice bright red when it's in the sun. This one, you know, kind of scuffed up a little bit, but gets a nice bright red stalk when it's in the sun. Super poor soil and drought tolerant. Grows nice straight clumps of beautiful red canes. So it's super ornamental. And you can't beat it, guys. It's got history. It's got flavor. It's got nutrition. It's got like everything you want. It's got looks. So, you know, guys, the only way you get these things is if you grow them yourself, right? Got to grow some Morgan red sugarcane. It's got history and the flavor, right? You can't beat that. And there's some peanuts, by the way. Get ready to roast those and make me some homemade peanut butter. Yeah, I grew those right there. Shelled them the other day. Gonna get ready to blanch them and then roast them and make me some peanut butter, baby. Oh yeah. And what is better than a peanut butter and sugarcane syrup sandwich? Oh, that sounds good. Now make me one. Love you guys. Check out the links and everything below. Like and subscribe. See you later. And keep watching and checking back for more growing sugar episodes here. I got more to go for you, right? See you later. Grow food. Grow that delicious sweet sugar cane.